everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Natalie and my channel is all about luxury, vintage, fashion, and styling. So if you're interested in any of those, please consider hitting the subscribe button below. And today I'm going to be talking about my most recommended vintage handbags for you guys. So I get asked this question all the time is what are like my top vintage handbags that I'd recommend for someone who's just starting out or getting into collecting? What do I feel like has the most value? What do I use the most? What are my favorites? So I figured I would just make a video of a couple of my top picks for you guys. We'll be talking about some of my bags I have and just kind of like general bags that I think are good investments. So if you're interested, keep watching. A couple of little things I want to mention before I start this video. If you're watching this kind of like in current time, so we're in December of 2022, there is a sale going on my jewelry. I get asked all the time about like the jewelry I'm wearing, like what I'm wearing in my videos. This is from Mickey and Jane, my ring, my necklace, and some of my earrings. So I will link everything I am wearing down in the description box for you guys, and any of the promo codes that are currently going on just for like the Black Friday, Cyber Monday type sales. And also I'm going to be doing a giveaway with 88 finds. I will link down below, it's over on Instagram, but I'll link the direct link to where you go to enter. We're doing a Celine wallet giveaway. You guys, I know everyone loves Celine. Celine's like the hottest brand right now. So I will link below how you guys can enter that. And let's get started. So obviously my love is vintage Chanel, like #1. So of course I'm gonna have Chanel on this list, but I wouldn't necessarily say like all Chanel is like, oh, the best investment or like the best thing. I mean, I do say if you want a classic Chanel bag, definitely go vintage over the new ones. The new ones price-wise are just so crazy these days, and the quality is just not there compared to vintage. I mean, I talk about this in a lot of my videos. I will link down below any related videos going into more in depth about vintage Chanel. But the quality is just amazing. So this is a vintage Chanel classic mini flap. So I don't have an actual classic flap in my collection. I have a seasonal flap here, some other types of bags, but I'd say, I mean, yeah, definitely if you don't have a classic and you really want one, go for a classic vintage. The prices are getting crazy, just like how new Chanel is getting. So that's something to kind of keep in mind, just kind of depends on your budget. But if you're open, I would say like my favorite type of Chanel bags to get are like the unique, quirky vintage Chanel bags. And some of them you can still get decent prices on. I mean, obviously all Chanel is going up in price, but like some of the more like unique bags you can find for really good prices still. Like this vintage Chanel, it's actually a cosmetic bag, but I wear mine as a handbag. I've just attached this like Etsy type strap on here. I can link something similar, but I just attach it onto the handles, and I mean, it's such a cute little bag and a super unique shape. It's still got like that vintage Chanel vibe, the CCs, the gold hardware, a little bit of quilting. But one of these will run you probably usually around like the $1,000 mark. So not too bad compared to like all vintage Chanel, but I just love like a more unique piece. As you can see, the majority of my vintage Chanel collection is like kind of more unique pieces. Or like this, for example, this velvet vintage Chanel with the acrylic handles. I got this like 6 months ago on Rebag, I would say, and it was like $1,200–1,300 on sale. So, I mean, I love these type of pieces. I feel like they're like really conversation statement pieces. They're timeless. Like they're not something that's like in and out of trend. I just feel like all vintage Chanel is just timeless and like cool in their own way. So yeah, I would definitely recommend kind of like going something like unique as far as a vintage Chanel bag. If I find any really cool ones, I will definitely link those down in the description box for you guys to shop. And anything I'm talking about, if I can find similar to mine or like really cool pieces that are available right now, I will put them down in the description box. So definitely check it out there. Yeah, so #1, vintage Chanel, of course. The second, of course, this is kind of like an obvious one too, but depending on your budget, I would say vintage Hermes is just beautiful. Like a classic box Kelly bag. These, again, like between these and the Birkins, are going crazy in price now. Yeah, the price for the vintage ones are just out of control compared to what they were a couple years ago. But this is a size 28, Hermes Kelly. It's a vintage box. It's from the late 1970s, and it's still like in beautiful condition. Mine didn't come with a strap, but that was okay with me. It still had the clochette. And if you haven't seen a Kelly bag, I have a whole video dedicated to this bag too. So if you want more information, I will link that down in the description box for you as well. But definitely, as far as vintage, it's a splurge to get a vintage Hermes bag. But I'd say if like you're not gonna go buy new from the store, I'd say look into vintage versus just like a pre-loved one. You're gonna get a better price, even though they're still crazy, but they're just like beautiful, timeless, classic. I also love the vintage Constance bags so much. I think those are so beautiful, but again, the prices are just getting kind of crazy. I would recommend, if you're gonna go for an Hermes Kelly, if you're open to sizes, if you can go for like a size 32, those ones are definitely more reasonably priced than like a 28. They're a little bit harder to find and a much more expensive. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, Hermes is definitely up there on like the top bags I'd recommend if you're looking to go vintage, and always a good investment. I mean, they always say handbags are not investments. However, these ones definitely do like keep going up in price. So it's something that I feel like you can feel secure and something that you're not going to necessarily lose a value in. So that is my second one. So the third bag I would recommend that you guys go vintage and get is a vintage Fendi baguette. The baguettes, if you've seen, they've been reissued. It's a 25-year anniversary. So all the new ones that are coming out are so reminiscent of all the vintage bags that are still out and still beautiful, classic. I just feel like you can't go wrong with a baguette. They're just like so iconic. You know, Sex and the City, it just made them totally iconic. I just feel like they're never gonna go out of style. I have a couple like unique ones, like not necessarily a traditional baguette, although I'm always looking to add another baguette to my collection. I feel like I've been looking at baguettes for years. I've just never necessarily come across like the perfect one. And there was a couple I almost pulled the trigger on, but I'm also like trying to be good right now with buying handbags. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. And the prices are starting to go up in these too. You kind of see that as the baguette has been getting more and more popular again. So something to keep in mind. It's not necessarily like the best deal as far as a vintage bag, but I just feel like it's classic and like something that you don't have to worry about if you get like that you're not going to love in a couple years. So I have this one. This is a maxi baguette, vintage Chanel whip stitch. Really cool, like unique and different. And I've added my Loewe strap just because I think it's like a really cool kind of combo. But yeah, it comes with its own strap. It actually comes with two straps, this one does. And I've seen this one pop up a couple times, not necessarily recently, but if I do find any, I would definitely link it below. Just like a really cool version. I love this one. And then I also have this cute little Fendi croissant bag. It is like the most useless bag. It barely fits anything. It's like definitely an evening bag that you like just need like a couple of like cards, maybe a lipstick. It's really like just for looks, honestly, but it is so cute. And I just feel like it's iconic too. Like I've thought a couple times like, oh, it's ridiculous. Like how often do I really get to wear this? But I love it. And like, I can't get rid of it. I just think it's so cute. It's got the classic Fendi Zucca print. And yeah, I love this version too. There's like a bunch of different ones. You can get them beaded, like stitched different ways, sequins, like there's a bunch of different versions, but I just have the little classic one. So yeah, there's also, if you're not looking to spend a lot on a vintage bag, another one that honestly, I use this so much is this little vintage Fendi pochette. And it's in like the, I think they call it Zucchino, the smaller Fendi print, and mine's in a teal. I think this is super pretty for summer. I love this. And honestly, it's just such a carefree bag. A lot of times I throw this within my bigger bags. And so it's just easy to kind of like pull from bag to bag. It fits all the essentials and more. Really roomy, just like a slouchy little shoulder bag. And those are really good ones. They're still really affordably priced. There's different kind of like shapes and designs of these ones, colors. But I think they're like a really great kind of like entry bag if you don't have a lot of vintage or pre-loved, or just like want that touch of Fendi without spending too much. I think they are a perfect way to go. So yeah, Fendi for sure is one of my favorites. So definitely be looking out for those on the vintage market. Then the last bag that I want to mention is, well, I guess a brand in general, but Vintage Bottega. You guys know I've picked up a couple bags within the last year that are Vintage Bottega. I have this brown one. This one's from Hawkeye Vintage. And it's just like that oversized slouchy kind of bigger hobo bag. There's nothing in it right now, but it looks really cool like when it has more stuff in it. I love the chocolate brown color. And then I have this little mini one I bought from More Tokyo a couple months ago in this little like kind of French navy blue color. And then my older pochette that if you guys have been around for a while, that pink one I used to have, I sold that one, so I don't have that anymore, but that's also a great bag. Yeah, I just think Vintage Bottega, the leather is so soft. And honestly, new Bottega leather is still beautiful, but the vintage leather, oh, it's like already like soft and supple, and it just gets like so smushy over time, like that new leather just doesn't have. And they really look almost identical to the new bags that are crazy priced now, especially with the new price increase that Bottega had. The only difference is like that knot. And I think the new ones are beautiful too. I'm not like against the new ones, but I just think there's something about the vintage bag. You can get that look. They're still somewhat reasonably priced on the market. You can get them for like around $1,000, even maybe under, depending on the color and the condition. But it's just like a cool, timeless bag. I feel like without the logos, I don't know, it's nice to have a non-logo, like if you know bag. And it's just beautiful. I would definitely go like, instead of just getting like, people get like the, ones that look similar but faux leather, I would just go and get the vintage version if you don't want to invest in like the new one. I think they are so beautiful. Again, timeless. I feel like they're still going to have a moment for the next couple years, and beyond that, they're always going to be a classic. So I just definitely think that these are great bags to pick up on the vintage market. Again, I will find these for sure I can find and link similar down below. Yeah, so those are my like top bags that I'd recommend going and getting vintage. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What bags would you guys recommend getting vintage? Do you have any vintage bags? Let me know what you have down below. I'd love to chat. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you are not already. And again, check out my Instagram if you're not already following me there. I put up a ton of content as far as my like vintage bags. I style them, wear them. So it's kind of like different content over there than here. So yeah, check me out there. And until next time, take care. Bye.